What's a dialectical discussion? A dialectical discussion is a give-and-take conversation on a topic among two or more participants as they seek to understand something, to understand one another's views, or perhaps to seek to persuade one another about something. Sometimes a dialectical discussion can involve a combination of these goals. These are some examples. Who should we vote for in the presidential election? Who is the best pop singing group of all times? Or who is the best Olympic athlete of the 2016 Rio Olympic Games? Or don't you agree that the Packers are the best team in the NFL for the 2016 season? Sometimes dialectical discussions begin without any need to define the term, simply because we're talking with friends and figure we share a common understanding of what we mean by pop or best athlete. Maybe pop is clear, but maybe best athlete requires we distinguish between male and female athletes because, for one reason, they don't compete with against one another, or for many other good reasons. Maybe we need to critique our question before trying to answer it, too. So we need to be sure we're using common or shared definitions of terms. Otherwise, we might be talking about very different things. Still, even if we agree on the meanings of terms, we might disagree with one another and try to reason or argue the value or superiority of our viewpoint or understanding of an issue. In this case, we've set out our arguments, and we have to set out our arguments and explanations to persuade the people we're talking with. In philosophy, dialectical discussions usually have a purpose, perhaps to persuade a person, or perhaps just to better understand some issue of philosophical import, such as in ethics. We see this in the philosophical dialogues of Plato, particularly when he sets out what we call the Socratic method. This involves a discussion of views and meanings of terms, which often reveals that the person Socrates is speaking with holds contradictory views, or cannot explain the meaning of the terms used. This reveals the importance of being aware of how much we do not know by critically thinking about our own opinions that we feel we know are right. All that said, a dialectical discussion can sometimes involve rhetoric or the use of emotive words and ideas to promote feelings and desires that push or draw us to one side or the other. The 2016 presidential candidates often have covered bad reasoning with emotive rhetoric or attacked good reasoning with irrelevant emotional rhetoric. A dialectical account is an account or explanation that explains a view or understanding of a topic by drawing on common definitions and views to display what follows in a reasonable or logical way from the common views. Aristotle begins his Nicomachean Ethics with a dialectical account that is meant to explain and persuade his philosophy students to his ethical views on what is good for them both to know and to follow or to do. This is because the purpose of the science of ethics is not just to know what is good or right for us, but for us to become good by doing what is good and right. How ethics is a science is discussed in another quick tip.